Once upon a time, there was a car named Stella. Stella was a beautiful red sedan, with a sleek exterior and a powerful engine. She had always been dependable, getting her driver, Tom, to and from work without any issues. Tom loved Stella, and he took great pride in keeping her in top condition. One day, Tom noticed that Stella was running rough. She was shaking, her engine was making strange noises, and her fuel economy was not what it used to be. Concerned, he took her to the mechanic. After a thorough inspection, the mechanic found that there were problems with the sensors that monitored the engine's performance. The engine was a complex machine, consisting of numerous components that worked together to keep the car running smoothly. One of the most critical components of the engine was the oxygen sensor, which was responsible for measuring the level of oxygen in the exhaust gas. As the mechanic dug deeper into the problem, the oxygen sensor spoke up. "I'm not sure what's going on," it said, "but I'm getting some strange readings from the exhaust gas. It seems like there's too much oxygen in the mix." The other sensors chimed in, each with their own observations. The camshaft position sensor said that it was having trouble detecting the position of the camshaft, which could be causing the engine to run poorly. The mass airflow sensor reported that it was having trouble measuring the amount of air entering the engine, which could also be contributing to the issue. The engine components listened carefully, trying to pinpoint the root cause of the problem. The spark plug said that they were firing properly, but the pistons reported that they were not getting enough power to move the car forward. The ECM, which was responsible for controlling the engine's performance, spoke up. "It seems like there's a miscommunication between the sensors and me," it said. "I'm not getting the right signals to adjust the engine's performance. There could be a problem with my wiring or programming." The sensors and engine components worked together, trying to find the responsible component for the issue. They ran diagnostic tests and checked each other's readings, trying to pinpoint the problem. The crankshaft position sensor said, "I think the problem might be with the camshaft position sensor. It's not detecting the position of the camshaft properly, which could be causing the engine to run poorly." The camshaft position sensor replied, "It's not my fault. The problem might be with the timing chain or the timing belt." The timing chain and timing belt checked themselves, and they found that they were in good condition. However, the belt tensioner said, "I've been feeling loose lately. I'm not keeping the belt tight enough, which could be causing the problem." The other components checked the timing belt tensioner, and sure enough, it was loose and not keeping the belt tight enough. The mechanic replaced the belt tensioner, and the engine started running smoothly again. Tom was relieved that the issue was resolved, but he also learned an important lesson. He realized that his car was not just a simple machine but a complex system of components that all worked together. And when one component failed, it could affect the performance of the entire system. From that day forward, Tom took better care of his car, regularly checking its components and keeping up with its maintenance. And with the help of the sensors and engine components, he and Stella were able to keep running smoothly for years to come. However, a few months later, Stella started experiencing issues again. Her engine was running rough, and her fuel economy was terrible. This time, the problem was with the mass airflow sensor, which was not measuring the amount of air entering the engine. As before, the sensors and engine components worked together to try to diagnose the problem. The mass airflow sensor was reporting that it was not measuring the right amount of air, but the other sensors were reporting that everything else was working correctly. The oxygen sensor was not detecting any issues with the fuel mixture, and the camshaft position sensor was detecting the position of the camshaft accurately. The ECM ran diagnostic tests and checked the readings from the sensors, but it could not find the problem. The spark plugs and pistons were reporting that they were working correctly, but the car was still running poorly. The engine components decided to take a closer look at the mass airflow sensor. They found that the sensor was dirty and covered in grime, which was causing it to give inaccurate readings. The engine components worked together to clean the sensor, and after that, the engine started running smoothly again. Tom was relieved that the problem was resolved, but he was also frustrated. He had taken good care of his car, and yet it seemed like there was always some new issue cropping up. He was especially angry that the sensors and engine components had not been able to diagnose the problem more quickly. The sensors and engine components heard Tom's complaints and were saddened. They had tried their best to diagnose the problem, but sometimes things just got dirty or worn out. They knew that they were an essential part of the car, and they wanted to do their best to keep it running smoothly. Over time, Tom came to appreciate the complexity of his car and the critical role that the sensors and engine components played in keeping it running smoothly. He continued to take good care of his car, regularly checking its components and keeping up with its maintenance. And with the help of the sensors and engine components, he and Stella were able to keep running smoothly for many years to come. If you like the video, please subscribe, like and leave a comment.